How does the Quran differ from other scriptures? Actually, the Quran was revealed over 1,400 years ago, and it states in no uncertain terms that it is the revelation from God conveyed by the angel Jibril alayhi salam to Prophet Muhammad, and it is regarded not only by Muslims but the scholars of religion and historians as the most authentic religious text in existence today. And unlike earlier scriptures, the Quran has been preserved and changed in its original Arabic text since the time of revelation, as God has promised within it its preservation. And he said it was granted, it is granted when God revealed that book. He said, indeed, it is we who send down this message, and indeed we will be its guardian. In chapter 15, verse 9, إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر وإنا له لحافظون. Chapter 15, verse 9. And you give a note that God often refers plurality to be in plural, but rather power and majesty. We means not many or more. He is one unique God, but it is known al-azama indicates plurality. It doesn't denote many gods, but actually it is considered rather power and majesty. History witness the fulfillment of that promise from Allah, God subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the book of God remains to date exactly as it was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah exalt his mention, and recited by him, immediately memorized and recorded by a large number of his companions, and it was passed on in exactly the same form by thousands of Muslim generation after generation up until the present day. The Quran of today is literally the same scripture was as it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, may Allah exalt his mention. And there is no other book in the history of man that in been recognized, in been memorized precisely and accurately, word for word, letter for letter, by millions of people over the centuries. And this is in itself considered a miracle. Actually, there is only one version of the Quran. The same revealed words continue to be read, recited, and memorized in their original Arabic language by Muslims throughout the world. Translations of the meanings into other languages assist in understanding but cannot be called the Quran, as this term refers only to the actual revealed words of God. The Quran contains God's final message to humanity and legislation which encompasses all spheres of human life. It is allied to all people and all times. It appeals to logic, following clearly, reasoning, and citing evidences from the created universe, from history, and from the human soul to establish not only the existence of God, but also his uniqueness and absolute perfection. It also contains answers to the questions which naturally occur to the human mind about the purpose of creation and what occurs after death. It is the primary source of the Islamic creed and its legislation. But in addition to religious guidance, it contains numerous verses that speak of the universe, its components and phenomena, the earth, the sun, moon, stars, mountains, wind, rivers, and seas, plants, animals, and successive stage of human development, as can you as can be seen from the examples in the previous chapter. The Quran speaks with the perfect knowledge of the Creator about His creation. Being the final revelation to the mankind, God has made the Quran a continuing miracle containing evidences to be uncovered gradually as humans increase in knowledge of their universe. But its main purpose, actually the Quran, its main purpose is to guide mankind as to how one should relate to his creator, to his fellow men, and to the universe in general. It outlines the practical methods of earning the approval of God and obtaining peace and contentment in the permanent existence to come. By following its guidance, man can only fully experience his human worth and his special position among created beings. The Quran was revealed containing complete guidance in all matters of faith and its application to the affairs of human life, in order that every one might attain the happiness and contentment of his world and the next, of this world and the next. Finally, we are going to ask, is it true that Muslims do not believe in Jesus? What does Islam say about him? Actually, one cannot be a Muslim if he doesn't believe in Jesus as well as all other prophets sent by God subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran names 25 prophets and messengers and suggests that there were many more, including Adam, Noah, Ibrahim, David, Solomon, Moses, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and peace be upon them all. Muslims have the highest regard for Jesus and await his second coming. The Islamic view of Jesus is one between two extremes. The Jews rejected his prophethood and called him an impostor, while many Christians regard him as the Son of God, billah, and worship him as such. Islam considers Jesus Christ the Son of Mary and one of the great prophets of God, worthy of respect and honor, but not to be worshipped. He was sent to confirm and renew the basic doctrine of belief in God alone and obedience to him. According to the Quran, he was born miraculously. His birth was a miracle. Without a father, he was born. And we can refer to chapter 19, verse 16 to 35. And he was not crucified, but actually he was raised up to God. And we can refer to Quran, chapter 3, verse 55, and chapter 4, verse 157 and 158. And the Quran attributes to him miracles that are not even mentioned in the Bible. However, Islam sees the the crucifixion of Jesus. However, Quran attributes to him miracles that are not even mentioned in the Bible. However, Islam sees the deification of Jesus as reversion to paganism, and the divinity of Jesus is categorically categorically rejected within the Quran text, chapter 5, verse 72. Chapter 5, 72. Let us see in order to chapter 5, 72. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْمَسِيحُ ابْنُ مَرْيَمَ وقال المسيح يا بني إسرائيل اعبدوا الله وربي وربكم إنه من يشرك بالله فقد حرم الله عليه الجنة ومأواه النار وما للظالمين من أنصار لقد كفر الذين قالوا إن الله ثالث ثلاثة وما من إله إلا إله واحد وإن لم ينتهوا عما يقولون لا يمسن الذين كفروا منهم عذاب أليم. In that chapter, it is highly important to mention in chapter 5, 72 and 3, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that it is rejected that Jesus to be a God. The divinity of Jesus is categorically rejected. It is totally rejected within the Quran text. And such doctrines as the Trinity, divine sonship, and atonement are not accepted at all by Muslims, simply because they didn't originate from Prophet Jesus himself. Jesus himself never says something like that. And it is known that most of the Gospels were written by men long after the time of Jesus, and that much of the New Testament were complied from the writings of Paul and his students. Unmistakable contradicts have appeared. It is actually unmistakable. It's not mistaken. Contradictions have appeared in the various modern, revised, and amplified versions of the Bible. The once purely divine message conveyed by Jesus has obviously been corrupted by human input and altered through numerous translations. The original text no longer exists. The Gospels were written several decades after Jesus' departure, and none of their authors had actually seen Jesus or even heard about him or heard him speaking. It means they aren't present at his time. And moreover, they were written in Greek while Jesus spoke Aramaic. Aramaic is his language, and those Gospels presently in circulation were not selected from among the others and authorized by the Church until the decisions of the Council of Nice in the year 320 CE. Nevertheless, belief in the divine scripture, not in its present form, but as it was originally revealed to Prophet Jesus. That concept is an article of Islamic faith. The final revelation from God subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only criterion by which information in various in previous scriptures can be evaluated. And therefore, whatever the Bible say about Jesus that agrees with the Quran, it is accepted by Muslims. And what is contrary to it is rejected as a product of human invention. I will stop here concerning that book of Clear Your Doubt About Islam, because the rest of the parts are speaking about the Sharia and are speaking about what are the pillars of Islam, and it comes in details of things like why is alcohol prohibited, and why is pork prohibited, and why do Muslims allow slaughter of animals, and what is the Islamic view on suicide, mercy killing, and abortion. Other data like doesn't Islamic law encourage vengeance, and these titles, it may need more extra videos. I'll try to complete inshallah. I'll stop here. May Allah accept. جزاكم الله خيرا. بارك الله فيكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.